Good morning, class. How are you doing today? I'm your teacher. So, I think we're gonna talk about the French geodesic mission. So, open your books, your history books, on page 33. I'm going to read. Okay. Throughout history, hundreds of naturalists and explorers were decided to find the shape of the world. There were many theories about it. Someone said that it was flattened on the poles, and other theory said that it was flattened on the sides. So, the French geodesic mission was carried in 1746 by French scientists, which was led by Condamine and some others such as Pierre Berger, with the participation of the Swedish scientist Andres Celsius. The main mission, or the goal, as I said, was to find the shape of the Earth, and it lasted approximately 8 to 9 years in Ecuador. The works carried out in America were such of importance that because they revolutionized the scientific concepts at the time, and as we know the meter now, they found out the exact size of a meter. And not only that, they only verified that the Earth was flattened at the poles. We had our own representative as well. We can let aside Pedro, Vicente, Maldonado.
Pedro Vicente Maldonado Palomini Flores was a scientist born on Riobamba, province of Quito, in part of Spain, on November 24th in 1704. He was one of the main collaborators in the French geodesic mission. He made his first studies in his town, and in 1780s he traveled to Quito and entered to the San Luis school run by the Jesuit fathers. On May 19, in 1721, he received the degree of teacher at the Royal and Pontifical University of San Gregorio Magno in Quito, and after that he returned to Riobamba to teach at the Jesuits College. He turned to Netherlands, and in August of 1748 he moved to London, where he was invited to participate in the meeting at the Royal Science Society as a member of that, but he never go because he died before that. And he died on November 17 in 1748.
Alexander von Humboldt. Alexander von Humboldt is considered by some to be the last universal scientist. Their trip started on Jolly in Cumaná, Venezuela, where they were fascinated by the rainforest. Humboldt adored nature and felt that science has to serve philosophy. He said, "Nature for me is not just objective phenomena, but a mirror of the spirit of man." Humboldt and Bowland went up to Orinoco to San Fernando, the Atabapo, bypassing rapids and carrying the canoe in town. After long days, tormented by hunger and mosquitoes and attentive to the jaguars that stalked them, they managed to reach the Rio Negro, one of the tributaries of the Amazon. They had been the first to sail the mythical Quasiquire, a natural canal 300 kilometers long that links the river system of the Orinoco and the Amazon, and which some consider a legend. On the way to Angostura, Humboldt conducted some dangerous experiments, such as fishing several electric eels to study the electricity produced by these fish with an harpoon. They caught these eels when they had already discharged their electricity into the quadrupeds. Up the Magdalena River, they crossed the Royal Mountain Range to reach Quito, Ecuador. During their journey, they climbed the Pichincha volcano and tried to climb the Chimborazo, with its 6,310 meters of altitude, was then considered the highest mountain in the world. They stayed at 5,610 meters at the maximum altitude achieved until then. Humboldt observed the gradation of temperature and vegetation stratifying along the hillside, which would lay the foundations of modern biography. In Peru, Humboldt studied the application of birds' droppings like guano as fertilizers and during the boat trip to Mexico measured the water temperature of the cold current that flowed along the Peruvian coast and which now bears his name. Humboldt and Bonpland toured to Mexico in 1803 and then passed back to Cuba and arrived in the United States, where they stayed at the White House as guests of honor of President Jefferson, a great lover of the natural sciences. After 5 years and more than 10,000 kilometers, Humboldt and Bonpland's great exploration journey ended in 1804, which they returned to Paris, where they had an enthusiastic reception. They had explored and documented Latin America fauna, flora, geography, and ethnography in the most ambitious scientific expedition ever undertaken.
Charles Darwin decided to go on a trip to Beagle in Devonport on December 27th, 1931. He went on a long trip around the world for 5 years. The Beagle became famous through the expedition with Charles Darwin. In his travel, what fascinated him the most was the fauna he found. As a naturalist, it was his job to observe and collect species of plants, animals, rocks, and fossils. He also made important observations about the geology of the islands and coastline he visited. Some of his observations during a long voyage, many observations helped him to formulate his theory of evolution.